many years. Who's recording the meeting?
I am.
Who's I?
Steve Cabazin.
Okay. Wow, we better really mind our P's and Q's.
Just on my, what do they call those guys that monitor that stuff?
I don't know. Big brother?
Compliance officer.
Okay, that's fine. Everything we're talking about today is concept driven. There's nothing product specific, and you're always safe if you're talking about concepts. Again, this is for training purposes only. This is not a sales presentation. I'm not soliciting anyone here on the phone to buy anything, and obviously you would have to go through a separate process if any concept or anything that I talked about today here was of interest to you, or you felt like it applied to you personally or someone that you know. That is not a sales presentation, so we would have to have a separate meeting for that. I have two numbers on here, 415-830-2250. I don't know who that is. I'd like to be able to put your name as attending. That may be Athena. And then 530-591-800. Oh, Athena's the 530. Who's the 415-830?
That's Carolyn. It's Carolyn.
Carolyn Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. How are you, Carolyn?
Good, how are you?
Very good. All right, so anyway, I have some background. Go ahead. I have some background in life insurance and annuity training, and I assume that you're on the phone because you'd like to, you're either selling it now, you'd like to sell it, you'd like to learn how to sell it, you'd like to learn more about it, and I feel like that we're at a unique position in our country's history. You guys know all about the baby boomers. That's who you work with, and you also know that the largest wealth transference in history is taking place as the baby boomers now start to pass away. So the 76 million people that were born ending with 1965, so if you were born 1965 or earlier than that, then you were a baby boomer, and the people 20 years in 1945, those people are starting to pass away, and as they pass away, it's the largest wealth transference in history from one generation to the next. And so we have a great opportunity if we'll educate ourselves about how to educate other people about what's available to them, to be able to provide this and make a great living, and even build a great team and agency around this. Just personally producing, again, I see no reason why everyone on this phone can't make $100,000 plus a year just in the life insurance and annuity division of their business. And I know how to do it. I've taught others how to do it. I taught Barbara Nagel how to do it. She was easily over $100,000 in life insurance and annuity sales after I trained her. I taught Steve Cabazin how to do it. So those are two people on the phone that have had direct training from me, one-on-one training, weekly, helping them even in homes with the clients, in between appointments, analyzing data to be able to do that. So, I don't want to feel like I'm tooting my own horn or anything, but I hope that you see that this time is valuable, and I'm very excited to be able to spend this time with you guys. One of the things that I'd like to do is hold this call weekly, but have it also be not just concept driven, but also be able to talk about specific cases that you guys have. And so I'm going to go through kind of a roll call, everyone that's attending right now, and kind of get a quick, because we don't have a ton of time, but a quick background, how long you've been licensed, what your interest is, how much business you're writing, those type of things on the life insurance and annuity side. I'd like to make notes so that I know if you're green, if you're brand new. I'd like to know that. If you have experience and you're currently already selling and appointed with companies, I'd like to know that, because you might be a resource for us as a team. And then we can kind of custom tailor these calls to make sure that the most value for the most amount of people is given. The second thing I'd like to do is we're going to announce a date in the very near future where I'm going to come to the Bay Area, and we're going to have a kind of an insurance boot camp, life insurance and annuity boot camp. Everyone who attends there has to be life insurance and annuity licensed, and we also need to make sure that your continuing education is up, you're current, you have your E&O, that everything's in position for you to write business and to talk about life insurance and annuity. And then that way we'll give you a few weeks before I come out there, and then we'll basically spend the whole day together. And I may rely on Barbara and Steve a little bit, but I have to say I'm pretty focused on what I'd like to do, and to guide and direct you and kind of give you 8 weeks worth of training or 6 weeks worth of conference calls in one day. So if that sounds attractive to you, I'm more than willing to do that and fly out there and get that handled, and then we'll continue on from there. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Barbara Nagel, I know all about you. You and I have known each other forever, but could you just tell the group briefly your experience with life insurance and annuities? I know your license, your broker is My Financials, My Insurance Solutions. So you're with us. That's who you write all your business with. And could you just give us your experience, and then how much life insurance and annuity you've written in the last year, and what your plans are briefly, what you hope to get out of the life insurance and annuity division with My Insurance Solutions.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Hi, John.
Hi.
I've been licensed since 1998, and over that time, life insurance and annuities have I've done many. I don't even know how many I've done, but a lot of them, and I've worked with other people who have also done that. So what was that first question you asked?
Well, that was the first question. The second part is, what do you plan on doing with your license with our company? I mean, what do you hope to get out of this training, and what kind of goals do you see yourself doing? Do you want to make money in life insurance annuity? Are you just focused on Medicare and kind of trying to get maybe motivated to do something here? I mean, where are you at as far as your license?
Okay, I want to do a whole lot more with the license. Have not done much in the last year because I've been so focusing on the Medicare side and getting all those certifications and learning about AEP and doing an AEP and all those things that go along with it. I have one policy in the works that I'm now delivering this weekend, and really want to have more, a lot more, because I think it's actually easier than Medicare, frankly, to help people with life insurance, and I think it is just as big a need as Medicare. However, life insurance, Medicare, you're focused on people who are 65 and older. Life insurance, you're focusing on everybody, even family members, even children, even looking. So it is such a bigger, broader possibility for your business to broaden what you are doing so much more. You're reaching everybody, and even the older Medicare folks, they still need to understand about life insurance just as much as younger families need to. In fact, I think life insurance is about the only saving grace that we have left for people if they want to keep their families safe and if they want to make sure that their homes are covered and protected if something happens to them. It is far beyond what people normally think of life insurance, and I'm looking forward to your training, John, because and I want all the folks on the call to realize that you are so good and so clear about what to do, what exactly to do as you sit down with a client and talk to them, that they just naturally want to have the policy, and your ability to teach how to interact with all ages for people is great. So I want to do a whole lot more in this arena, and looking forward to the growth of this part.
All right. Hey, thanks, Barbara. It's nice of you to say those things, and you make some great points about the if you draw a circle about all the people that you have come in contact with or that you can come in contact with for AEP, for Medicare. You're right. It is a smaller pool, although it's still huge. There are a ton of people that need our help. And then, like you said, what a great opportunity to go to those folks that already trust you because you've sat down with them and say, hey, look, do you have any policies or annuities or life insurance policies or old 401ks or IRAs that you would like to know more about? Because a lot of people don't even understand what they have. And that's, if you're taking notes, that's the very first step of any sales process, is helping them understand what they have or, what they don't have. A lot of times in our communications with people, you'll sit down and you'll step one is to meet with them and gather information. Okay, so on your notes, the three-step process for selling is number one, gather information. So as you're asking a lot of questions, they'll say, oh yeah, I think I have something with my work. Well, what do you think it is? Well, I think it's term life insurance. Well, how much is it? Well, I see it on my pay statements. It's $30,000. Well, do you know if that's accidental? Do you have to die on the job? Do you start asking more questions. Does that coverage apply to your spouse? How does that work? If you lose your job or quit your job, is there an option to take that with you, or does it automatically terminate? And so as you ask those questions, you'll find out that they'll say, well, I really don't know. And then you can go and get copies and you can do research, which is the second step of the process. Is once you've sat down and gathered the information, step number two in the process is to analyze the data and to do research, okay, and formulate some sort of plan of action. Or even sometimes it's inaction. Maybe there's nothing to do but to come back and educate on the third appointment. But the third appointment is to educate about what they have after you've done the research. After you've gathered all the information, done the research, then you can educate, and then if they need something, if something's suitable, then you can implement that. So that's the three-step process that I know works, and we're going to be drilling down and training on that today and in the coming weeks even more. I also liked what Barbara said about asking for referrals. I think, you should, in your process, and as you're taking notes today, you should always end every appointment that you have with a who do you know question. If you're not doing that, if that's not a part of your habit, then you need to be doing that every time. I can't tell you how much business I've written because I'll say, who do you know that may need this information? and they'll maybe give you Medicare referrals. But then as they see you in a different light as a financial professional, having the insurance and life insurance, health, and annuity designations, then they can say, well, my son just got married, and I don't think they have any life insurance. They could learn about this. So even though you may not have done any business by helping a family, because you took the time to gather the information, do the research, and then educate them, they're going to be thankful for that, and they're going to want to have that information passed on to other people. So that's super important. I see that Tammy Lou just joined us. Thank you for coming on. And is your number, Tammy, is that the 650 number?
Yes.
Or is that someone different?
Same number.
Same number. Okay, perfect. Russell, what is your background with life insurance and annuity, and what do you see in the future for you?
I think Russell's muted.
Oh, he's muted.
I'm pretty new. I just got my license in July, and I'm actually talking to one of my clients right now about signing a 20-year term policy, but he's kind of hesitant to do it. He's kind of concerned about his health. So I'm reaching an obstacle I'm trying to get over with him. But I've got everything written up and pretty much ready to go. He just has to, go forward with it.
Okay, awesome. So is he concerned that that he maybe not qualify for a good rate, or not even qualify at all?
Yeah, he's kind of concerned that he's going to have like high cholesterol.
Have you taken all the information down on an application already?
No, I've got the application ready to go over with him, and I'm supposed to meet him tomorrow. And it'll be my first one that I've ever signed, but I'm not sure if he's ready to go forward with it or not. He kind of wanted to do a lab checkup on himself just because he was concerned about not getting it approved.
Hey, and one thing that you can do, this is a tip that I can give you, and we weren't really going to get too much into specifics, but since you have an appointment tomorrow, I mean, one of the things that you can do with him is you don't have to sign the application. You can even talk to him over the phone and fill out the health part of the questionnaire. And then you can talk to, who's your broker? Who are you using writing business? Is it with us?
Yeah, it is.
So we have folks that you can then submit that information to, height, weight, is he a smoker or not, has he been in the hospital the last 7 years, I mean, all the questions that are on that health questionnaire. And before you even submit the application or even have him sign it, you can kind of run it by people that are familiar with the underwriting procedures at the different companies that we're appointed with. By the way, our broker, who we use, our brokerage, My Insurance, I mean, we have access to over 60 different carriers in both, and they're the top A-rated. Everyone knows these names, but you also have the resource tools when you're with us to be able to kind of pick their brain like that. So that might be something that's helpful, and just say, hey, I understand you're nervous and you may have cause to be, but let me get some information from you, and then I'll make sure that I've got the right company to fit the underwriting guidelines based on the parameters that we know. No guarantees, but at least you try to make it the right fit. You wouldn't put a 7-foot tall man in a little Geo Metro, right? You try to find him a car that had a little bigger room in the front seat. And that's kind of how, we need to do it. Gather information, do the research and analysis, and then make the recommendation and try to custom fit it for what makes sense for them. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay,
Russell. That sounds good. My line is, I think I've got some echo or something in it, but that sounds really good. I'm the guy's relatively healthy, and I can present that to him as far as having being another option for them, that'd be great.
Yeah, I just think it's okay even before you write a policy and submit it. And sometimes even these companies have what's called a trial application, so you don't have to state on a future application that you've been denied, because sometimes they'll look down on that and they won't run any blood work or whatever. They'll just look, like I said, at the health questionnaire and see it. But even before we do that, I think we should run it by our guys at, our specialists there, and maybe just get the preliminary data about the guy and his health history, and they would be able to tell you, and some of his concerns if you think his cholesterol's high or whatever, and they will tell you which product might fit the best for him, and that's the one that I would try to write and apply for.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
In the future trainings too, guys, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do the analysis to figure out how much insurance someone needs. It may be different from what they can afford, but they should at least know what the number that they need to have, and the math should make sense. So that's something that we'll be doing in the future as well. Okay, Russell's with us, and you have a goal and a plan, Russell, to do. You want to spend some time with life and annuity business and learn how to do it. You want to learn to be a professional in this area?
Yeah, I really do. I've got it. The people I'm running into, I always ask them about it when I meet with them, and they almost want to use me as just somebody to kind of help them understand what's in their 401ks or what type of options they can use at this stage. So it comes in kind of handy, and I don't know how many I can sell, but I can always kind of help them get some, like you said, kind of some guidance about what they have, and they seem to be pretty thankful for that kind of thing. So I run into it quite a few times.
That's awesome, and this, I think these calls are going to be perfect for you and everyone else who wants to do the same, because it sounds like you're not afraid to open your mouth and talk about it and ask questions. And if you explain how that process works, you say, hey, yeah, I know something about it, and if you're brand new, let me kind of give you a little bit of a training on some of the line. I know there's other people that are brand new, but there's kind of I don't really want to call it a script because you don't want to memorize it, but some ideas on how to talk with people when you're brand new and they know you're brand new. I mean, like your family members, your best friend, and other people like that, they know you're brand new. They know you're not a life insurance and annuity expert. But if you explain the process and give credibility to the process and your trainers and the resources that you have, that will overcome your newness. And because you have a relationship with them and you have a relationship with us who have the experience, you're able to borrow that experience, borrow the expertise on our end to fill in the gap where they trust you, but they really don't trust that you know enough to help them. Does that make sense? So the way I would do it, if I were brand new and someone brought up, for example, an old 401k or term life insurance, I'd say, hey, well, I know something about that, and I've recently passed my license. I'm quite new, and I'm going through some training, but there are some experts in our company that if I get some information from you, I can take it back to them, and we can use their expertise to do some analysis and research. And then I can come back borrowing their expertise to tell you what we came up with to help educate you about what your options are there. So that type of dialogue, that really works. So again, to repeat, the concept is that you're borrowing the experience and the research and the resources of our company and our trainers like Barbara Nagel, myself, Steve Cabasset, and then others that we have access to at all 60 of our product providers. As long as you're licensed, appointed, we can have the most complex case. Sometimes they'll even, if it's a big case, sometimes they'll even fly out one of their industry veterans and experts to meet with the client with you. So we have a ton of resources that will help you if you want to make some money and help some people in this area. All right. Let's see. Julie Fitzgerald, are you in a position where you can talk for a second?
Yes.
So what is your experience with life insurance and annuity, and what are your plans?
Well, I started working in insurance about a year ago, so I don't have a lot of experience with the life insurance side. I've been doing more property and casualty with farmers, and I've also been working with Steve Cabazid with Medicare, so that's kind of where I'm at.
And where do you see this fitting in? Are you kind of just looking at it, or is it something that you're excited about learning more and you see yourself doing some business? Where are you at with that?
I would like to learn more because I'm not real comfortable with the life insurance side. I have experienced where, you know, I haven't come across a lot of people that really want to talk about life insurance with me. I feel like sometimes people are in the economy of, you know, survival mode, and they have to have the auto, they have to have the home, but life isn't foremost on their agenda.
Yeah, I'm with
but
you.
I would like to be better at it and learn more.
Great. Sorry for typing in your ears, guys. I'm just, this way I can remember everyone and kind of where they're at. Well, that's great, Julie. I appreciate that honest feedback. And, you know, I think this call will also help you. You know, one of the first things that I was taught when I got my life insurance license is people don't like life insurance salespeople. And that's just kind of a stereotype that you have to get over. And, you know, even in my neighborhood, I know who the life insurance salespeople are. You know, are you kind of the same way in your circle of friends? And so we can do it in a way where people aren't offended or they don't feel like we're, you know, out to sell them something. And I think the key really is the education side of it. And one of the things I like to say, and you can write this down, is the one who asks the most questions wins or is in control of the situation. And so on our calls, we're going to really talk about what kind of questions you need to ask so that you can. I mean, most people have some form of life insurance. They do. And most people have an IRA or a 401k. And even though they're in survival mode, they kind of just have those things in the background, and they may not be the right fit for them, but they just let it go, and they just, you know, they just have it in the background of their mind, and they're paying on it, or their employer's paying on it, or in the case of an old IRA or 401k, it might even just be sitting there and not even working for them, not even, you know, put in the right place. I'd say one of the best questions that you could ask people is, you know, when you're trying to find out more about them and say, oh, where do you work now? Well, how long have you worked there? Well, I've worked there for 2 years. Well, where did you work before that? Oh, I worked at whatever. Oh, did you guys have a 401k plan with that? Yeah. Did you ever roll it over to a self-directed IRA? Well, no, I don't even know what that is. Or so you still have it with the old company? Yeah. Well, that could be a red flag. You know, they treat current employees different than they do for ex-employees. Did you know that? No, I didn't. And it's true. They sometimes have provisions in plans where they'll just, once you no longer work there, they'll automatically, to reduce their exposure, because, you know, you're not at those every 6-month meetings, you know, where they talk about the allocation options and all of that. They sometimes just shift those people right into a cash account. So the market could be doing great according to their strategy, but they may have automatically moved those accounts. So there's a lot of money to be made in transferring assets from one to another. Again, if it's suitable. A lot of times the options that we have to transfer those old 401ks or IRAs, there's better investment choices, and a lot of times they're cheaper. Inside the fees, you know, inside these accounts there are fees and things like that, and you can do the research to find out, you know, have the same investment strategy but maybe less costs associated with the account, and it might be cheaper for them to do that.
Okay.
Well, great. I'm excited to be able to teach you more about it, so you'll feel more confident.
Looking forward to
All
it.
right. Let's see who else. Julie, help me say your last name. Rajenovich, is that how you say it?
Perfect.
Wow.
First try.
Yeah. So you're up. What's your experience and what are your plans?
Okay, I kind of heard that because there was a muting thing going on. You just asked me the same question you asked everyone, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna go through it. I kind of want to know where we're at, and I hope you guys are okay with that on our first meeting, just getting to know each other and their experience and what you're trying to get out of these trainings.
Great. So I have been at P&C licensed since 2005. I've worked with farmers a little bit, but life licensed for about 3 years, but I've never sold a life policy. Just 5 months ago or so, got hooked up with my insurance solution. So I've been focused mainly on Medicare and just trying to figure all that out and compliant and make some money. And so fitting the life and annuity side into what I'm currently learning sounds great. I'd love to become an expert in being able to help if I focus on, let's say, Medicare, there's a huge, sphere of influence wrapped around that, and hopefully become an expert in order to help people of that, category with whatever needs they might have. So yes, I would love to learn more about life insurance and wealth transference and all that.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that, and again, I think you're going to find some value here. I think that the numbers are, if you look at the state numbers for how many people have a life insurance license and what their average income is and how many write a policy, it's like the average is 1 per year, and that includes people that are doing 30 cases a year, and then a lot of people that do none. So it's not uncommon, Julie, for people to be in the same position where you have a life insurance license but you've never written it. And it's almost like you kind of have to think of yourself as you're open for business, and on your shelves, you have this Medicare and you're learning all about that. And so you get the shelves all ready and you've got your name badge on, and someone comes in and you're able to say, hey, here are your options, and you learn about it. And you have a life insurance division of your company because you have that license, but you've got a locked door, and people are like, what's behind that door? And you're like, I don't really know. I mean, I have a license for it, but let me unlock it. And so I think this call, to use that analogy, is we're going to unlock that door. You and me and some of the others that are experienced, we're going to stand side by side. We're going to, as people come in or come through that door, we're going to help and show you how to talk with them. And then pretty soon you'll be able to do the same. Just like you had to learn Medicare, and you're already so much more well-versed now than you were this time last year on that same subject.
Right.
So, right. And you brought up a great thing about wealth transference. There's a lot. How many of you guys on the phone know, or on this call, know someone that, sorry, I was looking at a chat from Athena, and I'll read that in a second. You'll be next, Athena. We haven't forgot about you. We know you're on mute. How many of you guys know someone who owns a business?
Me.
a lot of you, right? A lot of people. It's about half of the people that are out there are a business owner or work for someone who's a small business owner. Well, that alone, in the future, we're going to talk about key person life insurance. They used to call it key man, but that's kind of sexist, right? They call it a key man, key woman, key employee, key person insurance policy. Also, these business owners, if there's more than one owner, partners in a business, then there's something called a buy-sell agreement, and there's insurance also involved with that. And so there's a lot of commercial application for you guys to use your life insurance license, and these are policies that pay quite well, and they're funded by the company, and they're actually a planning tool that they'll thank you over and over and over again. They avoid litigation. They help the company stay afloat if there's a tragic event to one of the partners or one of the key employees. And we know, if someone's over 50, then over 60, every year we get older, unfortunately, we have more of a chance that we're going to pass away. So that's something that you, Julie, kind of brought to my mind to help to bring up in the future as well. So that's awesome. Joe Dara just joined us. I didn't have him on our list, but Steve, you know who Joe is?
Sure do.
I'm gonna put Joe on my list here, and then let's read Athena's. I got to put that he's attending. How well can you multitask, and how fast can I type? Okay. Let me read what Athena said. Here's her report. I appreciate that, Athena. She said that there was a question about how long we've had our license and what we want to do. I've had my license for 4 years. I've had over 8 years in the elder care industry as a skilled nursing and assisted living administrator. Also, I have about 14 years in nonprofit. With 8 past months, I have been actively doing business with my license. I can now sell United Healthcare Medicare plans and various life, annuity, long-term care insurance policies. I would consider myself green because I always want to learn as much as I can. I love that. That's awesome. There's a phrase in business: if you're green, you're growing. If you're brown, or what's the other one? If you're not, you're dying. And so even though I have a lot of experience, I've got to continually grow. And I'm one of the leaders that you've ever met, probably, and maybe you guys are too. But I love to read, and I'm kind of a nerd because I read financial and political and things that some people consider boring, but I love to educate myself about everything as much as I can. So that's what Athena wants to. My goal, this is her again, my goal is to help people doing long-term planning with their finances, because I see so many people that haven't planned, and they have to be turned away from care that they could have received. So true. If they would have planned for the future, I want to help them find out what is best for them. I truly want to help people get their plans together for a more secure future, and I enjoy helping entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground. I see that working in this industry can use all of my skills instead of just one skill set. Thank you for your help. And, Athena's got it. She has a vision of what it is you're going to do. It would almost be like walking into a home. I'll use the medical analogy because she's been a medical provider. You walk into a home, and the reason that you're in that home is because someone broke their arm. And so you help them with their broken arm, or they come into your office and you help them with their broken arm. But you look at them and you see that they're malnourished, that they may have some other disease, they've got some skin condition, and you say, well, you know what, I'm really good at broken arms and these other things, I'm just not going to help you. And we're actually paid to help them, and it's helping them in a way that no one's probably ever cared about. And so if you're a caring person, using your license to help people in all areas of their life as far as you're able is so important. And Barbara Nagel said something that was really important at the beginning. She said that so many people don't have a way to take care of their family if something happens to them financially. And who was it that said people are just trying to survive? I think that was one of the Julies. And it's so true, but especially when we have these younger, healthy people, it's so cheap to get them the proper term life insurance in case something did tragically happen. And then we can convert that later down the road into something else that might be a tax advantage vehicle for them to save some money once their cash flow, is better. And they don't have to requalify for the policy. I mean, it makes so much sense to insure the young people now so that if something were to happen, then there's enough money there to help the family that's left surviving. So we want to talk about that, and hopefully you're taking notes on those things and learning more about that. All right. Well, we're going along quickly with our time, so let me hear from Carol and Kim briefly, and then we'll go to Tammy Lou if she's able to, and then we'll have Joe Dowra. So, Carolyn, are you able to give us a brief overview there?
Yeah. So I've been licensed with Health and Life since 2007. Haven't done a whole lot of life insurance. I've probably only done a few term policies. But my focus is to really become more of a specialist in life and eventually annuities. I really would like to, I think it would be great to focus on asset transfer. That's kind of been a goal in the back of my mind. Within that, and I also think it would be good to offer life insurance as not only a wealth transfer vehicle, but something that could supplement living benefits with the long-term care, because I don't really, a lot of people, people here and there approach me about long-term care, and I don't think it's a very viable product. And I think it's a good option to have people get those benefits through life insurance.
Nice. Let me talk about estate planning just for 2 seconds. We don't have a lot of time, but Carolyn brings up a great point here on what she wants to focus on. As an attorney, I've been a practicing attorney in the I don't know why it's echoing. Stephen? Can you guys hear that echo?
Yep.
See, we've been testing faith so far. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
John, I'm having a issue on my end, so I'll mute shortly.
Yeah. It's kind of frustrating, isn't it, with the echo? I still kind of hear that music in the background, so maybe I don't know if that's causing it. Maybe everyone could mute their phone and see if that solves it in the short term.
How do you mute when you're on the internet?
There's a little phone button on the microphone. I think it says mute microphone when you scroll your mouse across it. You guys find that? It's on the left-hand side in the middle. Is that good? Okay, it worked. Now someone has to tell me if they can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, so that worked. I don't know which one it was, Steve, but we may have to just, unless we can fix this issue, and Steve, you can put a meeting chat or just interrupt me. If not, then we can maybe just finish the call out if we can't figure out what's causing that echo. But let me talk about lawyers and estate planning. The statistics are out there and they're shocking. If all you did, and Russell talked about talking to a lot of people and asking questions. You're not a lawyer. You guys aren't lawyers as far as I know. But if you ask them, hey, do you have a will and a trust? And I would say that the numbers are like 80-85% people don't have one, or if they do, it hasn't been updated. And so we're not going to offer those services. I mean, obviously I could help them if they were in Nevada because I'm licensed there, but the reason I'm bringing that up is because you can develop a referral relationship with an attorney that you trust, and once you get the will and the trust set up, then there are estate planning issues, whether they may not have a lot of cash or assets, but a lot of people own a home, and right now a lot of those homes are underwater, but if you do not have a will and if you do not have a trust and both spouses pass away, then that property has to go through what's called probate. And a lot of times the deed isn't titled correctly even to avoid the probate, and there's thousands of dollars that have to be paid in attorney's fees even if the house is underwater. Okay? So you in California, same with my folks in Nevada, this is a common problem. I get a call probably once a week from someone who says, hey, so-and-so died and they left me this house. It's upside down. What do I do? And I say, well, we have to probate the asset. Well, it's not an asset. Well, it is an asset. It's worth $300,000. Just because there's a debt on it of $500,000 doesn't mean that it's not an asset. And so as we're gathering information from people, we can help them in that way. And then as they gain our trust, as we gain their trust, and we've helped them with their whole plan, like so many of you have said, we can look at the life insurance options. We can look at the IRA situation. We can look at the 401k situation. We can help their kids, because their kids are going to be the ones taking care of these folks when they pass away. They're going to be the ones having to go through the probate, or they're probably going to be the successor trustees on the trust and have to administer the trust assets once their folks pass away. And so there's a ton on the estate planning asset transfer side that I can teach you. I have 18 years plus legal experience in this area, and because of my life insurance license, I'm able to join those two things together and kind of see the whole picture for people. Steve's flashing a bunch of stuff up there, our website, it looks like. But I would encourage everyone on this phone to set aside time to attend these calls regularly. When we send out the invitation for the in-person training that I'm going to do in San Francisco, that everyone sign up immediately so that we've got a room full of people that are green and hungry and willing to learn. And many of these topics that I've touched on today, we are going to be diving down in greater detail at that training and on these future calls. As I mentioned, also those that are actively, first of all, you need to be with My Insurance Solutions and appointed with our brokerage. There will be opportunities to do some training and help with research and analysis on your appointments, and even one-on-one training, depending on the activity that you're doing in the life insurance and annuity field. So again, I don't want to just give you curiosity training, if that makes sense. Oh, I've always wondered about how a buy-sell agreement works. If you have a business owner that needs a buy-sell agreement and doesn't have one, well, that would be the perfect time for me to help you, over the phone or even on a group session like this, to go through a case study together so that everyone can benefit from that analysis. I hope that if that makes sense. I also encourage you to, if you're not with our brokerage, to meet with Stephen. He can help you and explain the benefits. Some of you might be with someone else, and you understand. We'll allow the general training just because you're with our So we're not going to exclude you from that. But any one-on-one coaching or any specific case analysis, if the business isn't written through our brokerage, then obviously we can't do that. There's exposure for us. So there's insurance, errors and omission insurance issues why we can't do that. And we obviously want to convince anyone who's not with our brokerage to come on board. And that way we all have a financial incentive to work together and to cooperate. So, those are some of the great things that we'll be doing. We'd also like to, on these calls, and we're just about done, but we'd also like to, at the beginning of every call, if you guys can be on time, we'll have some accountability. When you're accountable and when I'm accountable to someone else, I know that my performance improves. And when you report that accountability to your peers and to other people, then it seems like we're more resolved to get things done. And so I'd like to challenge everyone in this next week, before the call next week, to talk to 5 people in this next week, and they could be former clients, present clients, family, friends, someone, and just ask them some questions about life insurance and annuity products that they may or may not have, and then also ask them about their will and their trust situation. Obviously, you have to be close enough to them to be able to ask those private questions, but I challenge you to talk to 5 different people and to report on the call next week about how that went. And if you need some coaching on how to approach those people, then certainly you can send that into the general My Financial Solutions email address, and between me and Steve and Barbara, we might be able to give some ideas on avenues to approach. But for the most part, people that you really don't know that well are going to be hard to approach anyway. And so work in your warm market. If you don't have a big warm market, then you need to expand your warm market by joining groups, clubs, churches, not for the purpose to sell to them, but because it would enrich your life to know other like-minded people in an area that you have an interest in. I coach a lot of youth sports, so my circle of influence and my warm market is really, really big because I have a lot of kids and I love sports and I like to be with my kids and I want to help them. So in this last year, I've coached flag football, I've coached a couple different soccer teams, indoor and outdoor, and I just got done coaching the last basketball league season for my 11-year-old son. So with that, I get to know all the parents, and I'm interested. I know all the kids by name, of course, and some of even the opposing players and coaches, and it brings me a lot of satisfaction in my life. But a natural extension of that is I am concerned to know if these families have everything together, and in our normal conversations of talking about what each other does, I can bring that up, and they usually ask me, well, yeah, I mean, you're a financial planning and asset planning professional. You have a life insurance license. Wow, that's interesting. And I'll say, hey, is there someone that you work with? Are you open to getting some more education about what it is I do for people? And for the most part, people are very open to that type of a dialogue, especially when you show your interest in them first. Steve, if we still have the echo problem, then we'll go ahead and end the call. But I appreciate you guys. I'm interested to see who's going to hit that benchmark next week and report in. Hopefully we'll have some others on the call, and we'll also send out some emails to you guys and those that weren't able to make the call today to see if we can't get those other folks on the call and have them competing too to talk to five existing or new people to open their mouth about your license, about what their needs are, what products they may already have, and may want some more education. I encourage you to make your conversations educated and not sales oriented. And when you talk about My Financial or My Insurance Solutions and your licenses that you have, that you say, you know what, I'm really an education-driven professional, and I know that if people have the right information, then they'll make the right decisions. And so my focus is on educating people about what their options are, and then I know they'll make a decision. Whether that's with me as your agent or not, I'm okay to just give you the information. And if you have that type of dialogue, write down some of those words that I said. I think it'll work out really, really well for you. And of course, your goal in having that dialogue is to sit down and have an appointment with them to, number one, gather information. Then you tell them, number two, we're going to do some analysis and research. And then number three, you want to educate. And if you need something or something's a fit, then of course we would implement. But not until you're totally educated and you understand exactly what it is and why you're doing it. All right. That's all that I have for today. Next week, we're going to be talking specifically about the different types of life insurance and how to explain that in a clear, very organized, unconfusing way, because there's so many products out there. And I think it'll help you a lot to be on the call. So I hope that you guys are on it next week. Steve?
John, thank you. We kept it right to an hour. Congratulations. I want to thank everybody for their participation. More importantly, I want to get this information out to you. We are, as John mentioned, accountability. We are working very closely with a broker that took some time to vet. That's one of the strengths that we have as a company, and John specifically with his background in insurance law, and it's just some of his gifts to be able to really discern who to be in business with. With that said, we have a broker that we believe has done what it is necessary, I guess, to really understand the marketplace, to interview agents, to work closely with agents. One of the biggest complaints out there is that there's very little support in really truly understanding insurance concepts. Plenty of brokers, plenty of product. People will ship you illustrations all day long, but will people take the time to give you those important questions to ask that John's talked about here? Well, the broker that we've selected, we believe, is a perfect partner. We'd like to see you participate in that brokerage. John was being very kind and offering ongoing support. But when it comes to accountability, the broker wants to know who's contracted, who's submitting business, and have some expectations about spending time and energy with our agents, our agency, and using and spending their resources. So I guess what I'm saying is really, truly consider the education factor. As John said, he's trained literally, he talked about Barbara and I, but he is responsible for training hundreds of agents, very successful agents across the country in these concepts that make a living specifically on just this line of business, life insurance and or annuity, or a combination of the two. So please get a hold of myself and or send an email back to My Insurance Solutions if you would like this type of coaching, in-depth training, and access to the resources that I think will give you the edge, because there is competition out there. People do get the quotes right offline, right? They'll go right online and get Geico and or some other carrier, or an expensive product like a New York Life, not knowing that there are other options, but they just shop a brand. So we'd like to get you enrolled. We're prepared to do that. I got a call from the broker this morning. They are aware of this training. They're excited. They generally have to supply this training, and it's very limited. So they're excited to see that there's a firm, an agency, a brokerage, My Insurance Solutions, that's willing to take the time to reach the agent, to have an educated agent that's understanding the marketplace and having success. We'll be giving them a report today, and then hopefully you'll contact us. We'll get you started down the contracting process, make some recommendations, get you some additional resources. We're prepared to really ramp it up with you with technology and training. So this will be occurring once a week. We appreciate your time. John, thank you for taking an hour and supplying kind of just the opening phone call. Who's really interested? That's who we want to spend our time with. Frankly, the attendance was greater than I anticipated on such short notice. So again, thank you folks for taking time out. And we're signing out. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.